My name is Briean. A lot of my friends call me Bree, but I live in Pennsylvania and I actually practice full time in Maryland, as well as coach businesses and practices.
Awesome. And the name of your coaching business?
Pivotal Solutions.
Fantastic. Well, Bree, we're so happy to have you with us today. And one of the reasons that we invited you to join us is because you have joined us for several of our in-person events that we've done. I think you've been at just about every class we've taught at the ADOM conferences over the years.
Yes.
And you've been through the Marketing Action Plan workshop. You have the Marketing Action Plan workbook. So we'd love to hear, how have you personally used that workbook in your practice?
Well, I can tell you that the workbook was one of my favorite tools that I would be able to leave the conference with. That was something tangible that I was able to take back and actually use time and time again. So thank you for that. I know I've told you before, but I appreciate so much how you make sure to give a resource and a tool. So personally, I utilize that myself. My favorite aspect of that was the monthly planning. To sit down and have an actual blank calendar and give thought to each day the topic that you would want to share, content. Just my biggest takeaway utilizing that was just what Angela said, which was you have to plan, and it's like we all know that, but for some reason when she said it out loud, that light bulb went off, and I'm like, that's so true. We need to carve out time to plan, and the workbook allowed me to do that. I used the monthly calendar tool, I used the goal worksheets, and many other pages, the marketing goals, the hashtags. So that's how I implemented it in my practice, as far as having the light bulb go off and now having a tool that I can actually write out. It takes me 10, 15 minutes to maybe come up with some ideas myself or my team members and fill in that monthly calendar. So that's my favorite.
Yeah, I love that little gem from Angela too. We have to plan. And like you said, it
Yeah.
it feels obvious, but it's overlooked so
Yeah.
often, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your team. You're in the trenches, you're in a dental practice, you're working with a team. What have you done to get your team involved and excited in marketing efforts?
So for marketing, I find that either coaching or working in my practice with the teams, sometimes the word marketing freaks people out. And what I've loved to do the most is point out that everyone's already doing something with marketing. So my biggest shift and focus and a lot of the goals surround our internal marketing. So that's a lot of the conversations we have, because dental assistants are doing internal marketing in the operatories with the patient experience that they're providing and the reputation that they're establishing through the relationships they're creating. It's as simple as giving a patient the business card on the way out and saying, here's our contact information and here's one to share with a friend. We would love to have your friends join our practice. Internal marketing, and maybe while someone's not comfortable being in front of the camera or creating content or able to brainstorm ideas, I really feel that anyone could be involved with internal marketing, because your patient checks in, hey, while you're sitting and waiting, why don't you check in and tell your friends and your family that you're here? So small conversations like that help kind of really throttle things within the practice, as far as everyone being able to pick up a component and participate in marketing without it being a big scary thing. So that's how I've kind of introduced it to my team, with getting like their toe in the water, but then sneaking up on them and gradually increasing it unknowingly to them. And they're doing fantastic with it. We're seeing the reviews, we're seeing the Facebook likes, and most importantly, internal marketing establishes that quality long-term patient, because you don't have to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on outside marketing and mailers and ads and all of these things. You already have quality patients that you want to be a part of your practice. So for us, we have found that focusing on things internally, that's helping us grow, because they're inviting their friends, they're inviting their family members, they're telling their friends, wow, my dentist just sent me a card because my dog passed away, or all these little customer service / marketing things. So that's been our approach, and it's working well.
I love that. I love that. Did you encounter any resistance? Or I know you mentioned the word marketing can be a little bit scary sometimes, but did your team have any challenges to getting involved or any like limiting beliefs that you had to overcome? And how did you overcome that?
Yes, I would say I don't know that resistance is the right word, but people are quick to hear when I'm sharing this information. People are quick to say like, "Well, no one's you're not taking my picture," or "I can't be in a video," or "Wait till I lose 10 pounds and then I'll do that." So I wouldn't say resistance, but everyone thinks that they need to, polish something or prepare something or so I guess what I can say to that too is it comes back from the management aspect or the coaching aspect is delegation. Finding people who are comfortable with being involved where you want them to be. You wouldn't want to give your shyest, most timid person in your team the responsibility of making a live video or taking a selfie and sharing about a topic. So I would say really identify the strengths of each person, ask them what their comfort level is, because maybe they don't want to get in front of the camera, but they're excellent at writing. They could write a short blog or maybe take on the responsibility of doing a monthly newsletter. Maybe you have uh, an older generation team member who taught Sunday school back in the day, and they would be great at making the idea for each month of what game you could play. Like it's a pedo practice, so let's do coloring contests or guess how many M&Ms are in the jar. So some of those are some old school techniques, but again, it might align with the comfort level of the team member, and it also may align with the demographics of your patients because
Mhm.
I really personally believe not only in marketing but every area of the business and practices. There's no cookie cutter approach. So whatever we learn or see others work for others, it's not going to maybe work for us. So we need to be able to identify those things and see what demographic we're dealing with, so we can really customize content and interest that way. So that's fun too.
I like that point, and I think that's such a key point that you need to know who you're talking to really, and then tailoring your message to fit.
Because if you have all elderly clientele, they may not really care that you're up with all the latest TikTok trends and whatnot. And I think that's so fun and still relevant, for that next generation of patient demographic you're trying to attract. But no matter the age of the patient, it's fun to get them involved in some form or fashion. So
Love that.
I do always like to kind of take that into consideration.
Love that. So, how have you kept marketing top of mind for the team? I think sometimes we come home from a conference, we're so excited to share this
Yeah,
with our team. They're excited, and then
guilty.
3 weeks later, 3 weeks later, we're like,
Guilty.
oh, we totally dropped the ball. So,
Yeah, that is me to a T. I come back super energized because when you talk about business and dentistry and patient care and all these things, I already am super energized and passionate about it. So watch out, people, when I come home from a conference and get all juiced up on on the latest news and trends. But they tolerate me with that. And I will have to say, if you have a team that has the initiative to come to you with ideas or, take things on, that's fantastic. But that may not really be everywhere. Again, it depends on team members' comfort levels and all kinds of things. But I will say myself personally, I took that information of plan to plan. And while I may find that some brief conversations can happen while, we're maybe all having snacks and someone may say something, I do find myself being the one to identify that and then trying to make it be a topic at hand where someone's going to pick up on it and run with it. But also recruiting help for the brainstorming when I have my monthly out, like, hey, can someone look up what is there any national chocolate days or is it national walk your dog day? There's something for everything. So maybe I can at least delegate and assign again that research to that person that isn't going to get in front of the camera, but will do the legwork for me. So I will say myself personally, it still is coming down to initiating and delegating and that reminder. We're all human, we get busy. So I do have to keep that marketing aspect in the forefront of my mind, and bring it up with reminders. I'd say, every couple months or whatnot. But also, to point onto that, morning huddle was a fantastic time to focus on the social media content or who's asking for likes today. So that's something they teach us, and you've shared too. So I will say keeping it in fresh is going to help when you're talking about in the morning huddle or whatnot. So um, as managers, CEOs, practice administrators, I would say, have to kind of keep up with it. Unless you're one of those blessed offices that have someone that's willing to take on that as their baby and make it into something beautiful and relevant for your office, then that's amazing. So if you see someone dropping hints or showing signs that they could be that person for you, pour into that and take them up on it, and don't feel as manager like it's only your responsibility, or you have to do it. If you find someone with that gift and that talent and that interest, give them that responsibility, and go with it.
I love everything that you just said. Two things popped out at me. One is to use the strengths of the team. Not everybody's going to be comfortable in front of the camera, but they may have other strengths in doing research or finding ideas, and I like that, because I think that that's a really important aspect of all of
Yeah.
this. And then you use the word delegate a bunch of times, and that is such an important, sometimes overlooked aspect too. It shouldn't all
Challenging.
just be, yeah, it shouldn't just all be on you, right? We're a team.
Yeah. You have to get everyone on board and feel motivated. And I think that can lead to frustration if you don't. Like I say, if you're assigning the task to the wrong person, it's either not going to be done or it's going to be frustrating. And that's not what the marketing or the social media and practice growth really should look like. It should be something that's just burning inside of us, that we're excited, and it's our belief system, it's our why, it's our confidence, and that's what's going to help your practice grow.
Love that. Love that. So, what have been the results of getting your team excited and involved?
I would say just what I was talking about, which would be growth. I mean, especially through previous years and unfortunate events around the world where it's led to um, loss and short staffed and all of these things to overcome. So I would say I'm very proud. My practice actually has thrived through it all. I can say that we responded to the events and not reacted to the events. So we are just busting at the seams. We are growing, and not with people that are coming in the door and then leaving out the back door. We are growing with patients that are good long-term quality patients. And I will say, I think a lot of that has to do with our focus and efforts on our internal marketing, everything surrounding that. While it all starts online, but it also starts from the phone call and the entrance to the office and their experience in the operatory with the team and the doctors, and how we were able to treat them on the financial side and the scheduling. So I will say that's been our impact. Um, Having this information, having the knowledge, taking the time to have planned, it's been very beneficial, and hands down something that I will never not do.
Love that. I love that. So, what advice would you give to other office managers who might be, looking to get their team involved in their marketing, looking to delegate, looking to plan? What are your
Yeah.
top pieces of advice?
I would say my biggest advice is something that I would think would be safe to say we're all guilty of, which is we think we have to figure it all out. We find out this information. Oh my gosh, I have to do this. How am I going to do that? What are we going to do about this? Are they going to like this? Are they going to participate with that? We just ask ourselves all these questions. So my biggest advice is, instead of asking yourself these questions thinking you have to have the answers, make it a conversation. Bring it up to your team. Present them with the information of like, hey guys, it's time to get on track, and let's focus on X, Y, and Z. What ideas do you guys have? What do you think would be fun? What do you think would be relevant? What do you think you could offer? How do you think we could do it? So don't just go huddle in a dark corner of your office with your action plan and trying to answer all these questions. You have to get the conversation going, and that's where your responsibility lies. That's it. Bring it up, talk about it, and then plan to plan. Um, and that's just what you have to do. That's my biggest advice, I would say.
That's great advice. That's great advice. So, for anyone who wants to get in touch with you or ask questions, can you tell us a little bit about how they can get in touch with you? Tell us a little bit about Pivotal Solutions and what you're doing with that
Sure.
too.
Yes, I can be found. We can connect on Facebook. I can be found online at pivotalsolutionsnow.com. And there's contact forms there. My email addresses are available. But Pivotal Solutions, that to me, pivot in the last few years have become such a important word to me. So it just made sense. And my slogan is there is a better way. So it's not really what we're doing or how we're doing it or how we're saying it, but there is a better way to what we're doing. So I pride myself in giving people those light bulb moments too, just like Angela did for me. We all need a person in our life like that. I'm very much willing to help. I'm so passionate. Results matter to me, success matters to me, and I can be someone in your back pocket virtually. I can come into your practice and help really with any concept. And I have no shame in my game. If you feel that I'm not the best fit for you, I'm very confident I can point you in the right direction. So if you need a better way, if you have a question, if you need a solution, then we need to talk. Let me help you.
Love that. Love that. Well, thank you again, Bree. This has just been an absolute pleasure. We love hearing how you're using the tools and what some of the practical ways that you've been able to implement these ideas and how you've found success. So thank you so much for coming on today and sharing this with us.
And thank you for the invitation, and thank you for the tools, and because I'm sure you guys have poured your heart and soul into this, and it's obvious, and it's not just a little nugget of information. It really is start to finish how to do this. So thank you guys too. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon, everybody.
Bye.